Hey folks, we're going to do another splits practice. So far during March Movement Madness, we have done one splits practice. It's been a nice, easy introduction. Today, we're going to pick up the heat a little bit and build upon some of the foundations that we worked on together in part one. So if you haven't done splits part one, you'll find it on the March Movement Madness playlist, and I'd recommend you start there if you've never done splits with me. If you're like, girl, I'm a longtime student, I've done tons of splits practice, then jump right in here. This is a great place for you to be. If you did that practice with us, you'll want 2 blocks and a blanket for this. If you don't have blocks, things that resemble it, work with what you got. Alrighty, so grab your tools and let's get into some splits. Let's get started at the wall. So we'll come to standing at the wall, hold on to it, and pick one of your legs, doesn't matter which, swing it forward and back. And just be mindful if you've got like really tight hamstrings, don't swing too much that you pull something or hurt any of those parts of your leg. Really good. And then we'll just switch to the other leg. You can let it hang really kind of dead and be dead weight, swinging forward and back. Good. Beautiful. Let that leg slow down. We'll turn to face the wall and we're going to take leg swings of your leg going across your body and then out to the side. So same idea, but now there's a little bit of rotation. Good. We'll switch to the other leg, slow that down, and switch. Very good. We'll stay standing at the wall and then choose your favorite leg. Point the toes out in front of you, straighten it completely, and then lift it up and go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Really good. That same leg's going to swing back behind you, so you can bring your chest a little bit forward like a 45-degree angle and think that you tuck your tail slightly. Lift the leg up. 10, 9, nice squeeze in the butt. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. We're going to do the leg out to the side, so you'll think that your kneecap comes towards your shoulder. Lift it up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Other leg. Point it out in front of you. We'll start with the 10 lifts up. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm immediately aware that one leg is stronger than the other. Pitch your chest forward. Now we'll do the back lifts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. I'm going to turn the other way to do the side lifts. Leg kicks up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are not inadequate if your leg does not go that high, or if your leg goes higher than me, then good for you. Alrighty. We're going to come onto our matted space and find a nice wide stance. Find a horse stance, dip your hips low, and then stand up. Go as low as is available right now. You can send your arms out into a T to just do something with the upper body and think that you reach long through the arms and lean the shoulders back. Really good. Next time you're low, pause. Hands can be anywhere. Lift your heels up, both of them if you can. If both is too hard, then you do one and then the other. But I want you to lift your heels and drop them. Lift and drop. And then you'll notice your body kind of goes up as you lift the heels. Stay low in the pelvis. Lift the heels, drop them. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Stand on up. You can toe heel the feet about hips width distance apart, so more underneath you, toes pointed out. We're just warming up the body because heat is really useful for stretching. So dipping your hips low and standing up, just some simple squats to stand. When we get the blood pumping and get the blood moving through the muscle tissue, it's actually a lot more malleable and flexible to work with. We're less likely to tear. That's why you'll often hear people say to do a warm-up before your workout and you stretch after the workout. You try not to stretch when you're cold. Not that there's anything like wrong with it if you're just doing easy stretches, but for us, we're trying to go deep. So we definitely want to be mindful that we're warm. All right, beautiful. So pick your right leg, step it forward out in front of you, and just find a nice high lunge. We're going to take the back knee and tap it to the floor, and then come back up and try that another 5 times. Good. Another 3, 2, and I want you to stay low in the hips. Try to squeeze the back leg straight. Hands can come onto this front thigh, send the knee forward in space, dip your hips a little lower, little pulses. Really nice. And go ahead and grab your blocks. You can tap the back knee down and bring them to frame the front foot. Widen your lunge, or rather just make it longer, and really press your hips forward and down here. Take a few deep breaths. Really good. Switch the legs. We're going to come back up to our high lunge. And then we'll take a tap of the back knee down and lift it, and do that again. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stay nice and low. Bend into the front knee. Try to straighten the back leg. Good. You might dip your hips a little bit lower. Little bounces. Very nice. Tap your back knee down. Get long in the lunge, so you might inchworm the front foot forward or scoot the back knee away. Send your hips nice and deep as you lean the shoulders back. What's really nice about flexibility practice is that we can all improve, we can all deepen this, but there's a really nice balance that we want to find between our flexibility and our strength. We'll really only go as deep as you can come out of that as we are strong. And, you know, balancing our strength. If we've got a lot of strength, we really want to balance it with some flexibility. Alrighty. One more time up to stand, to just lengthen our hamstrings a bit more in this position. So feet parallel underneath you. You can have your arms on your hips or out to the sides. That'll be a little bit more challenging, so depending on what you want. And we're going to take good mornings over our legs. If you've practiced with me before, you've probably seen this movement. Bring your chest about halfway down and then stand up. If it feels really good for you, you can go a little bit lower than halfway and try to keep your legs really straight and think that you rip the mat apart underneath you. Good. Let's take 5 more if you want to. Arms can come overhead. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and drop all the way down onto the bottom. And you can take a few lunges side to side, a couple sways. Really nice. Go ahead and toe heel your feet underneath you. You'll come down to the ground. And our front back split, you know, whether or not we get into the full expression of that shape today is not the point. We're gonna build towards it. It does ask us to have a little bit of a back bend. When we've got one leg forward and one leg behind, inherently we're in a little bit of a back bend. So we're gonna warm that up by coming down onto the floor, onto our bellies. And we're gonna take some superhuman lifts. So you can bring your arms into a little cactus shape and then lift your head and shoulders, lift your legs up and drop the whole shape down. So we're gonna do that 10 times. Lift up, heels kick the ceiling, straight legs, and drop low. Good. 9, lift, hold at the top and lower. 8, lift and hold and lower. 7, lift and hold. Good, lower. 6, lift and hold. Good. 5, lift and hold and lower. 4, lift and hold and lower. Lift and hold. Good. Last 2 here, lift and hold. And lift and hold this time. Swing your arms overhead. Take big swims through arms and legs, up and down like you're swimming in water, paddling through it. Maybe it's a really nice lake. Maybe it's the middle of summer. Good. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very nice. Hands can come down by the shoulders and lift up into any kind of cobra. My hands naturally slid. My mat's a little slippery today. So you can always walk your arms longer out in front of you. That way you'll be able to straighten them while your chest isn't super high. Really nice. Alrighty. Push the floor away and we'll come back into our right leg forward lunge. I like to always have blocks nearby me just in case balance gets a little bit funky. So for this one, I want our hips to stay nice and low. So you'll keep the back knee tapped on the floor for now, tuck the toes, and just notice the depth of your hips. And I want you, and notice like the height of your head too. An image in your mind that now there is a ceiling right above your head. Try to straighten the back leg without getting taller, get longer. Kick the back leg away and then tap the knee down. And try it about 5 more times like that, kicking and tapping. I know that the hardest part of any class is keeping count. So if you've lost count for yourself, do 1 more and really nice. Alrighty, we're gonna set up for a nice big quad stretch here. It doesn't matter to me which hand you reach back with. It's just whatever feels natural. If it's same side or opposite feels natural, go for it. If you're someone who's got sensitive knees, then you can put a blanket underneath your knee. The idea is as we get more flexible that eventually you'll be more on the top of your thigh than your kneecap. But you know, that might not be the case anatomically for you ever, or depending on what your goals are. So I just want you to reach back with one of your hands and let your hips drop. And then you also pull your foot in towards you. As you pull your foot in, your hips are gonna wanna back up, right? And it's normal for you to kind of back up, grab your foot, but then re-descend back into the lunge. A few more breaths. Really nice. Send your back leg away. You can lift the knee up. Take a second to kind of straighten out that leg, engage the quadriceps. Good. Alrighty, switch the legs out. We're just going over to the other side. We're setting up the left foot forward this time, probably. And you'll tuck your back toes. And again, image in your mind, you've got that ceiling right above your head. You're not gonna grow taller. You're just gonna grow longer through the legs. As you kick the back heel away, think that you lean your shoulders slightly back and reach your left knee and shin forward. Good. Tap the leg down. You'll take 5 more like that. Really nice. Go ahead and tap your back knee down. We'll get into our quad stretch. Any hand that makes sense for you. I'm doing opposite hand today. just because it's nice and easy for the block, but same side hand works well too. If that's the one you can grab your foot more easily on, do the one that's easier to hold. If you really can't get your foot, I didn't mention this in our props, but you can have a strap or a scarf, wrap it around the top of your foot and hold on to that and pull your foot in with the scarf, letting your hips descend down. And it's a work of your breath here. So as you take exhales, think that your hips get heavier. Breathe in, fill your lungs all the way up. And then again, you think your hips heavy and your back heel gently draws in without your knee screaming at you. Couple more breaths. Send your back leg away. You can gather your legs underneath you and just take a seat on your heels. Let yourself have a second of not doing anything too crazy. Awesome. So you'll still want your blocks. I am going to roll my mat backwards so that I can slide forward and back here. If you are on a carpet, you'll either want furniture sliders or, I don't know, I've seen people use like a really small pot. Furniture sliders are the best for carpet. Otherwise, if you can get your heel onto hardwood or tile with a sock or a blanket, then that will be ideal for sliding. If you can't do it, you can totally do this on carpet with a sock on or something. It just will be maybe a little bit harder, but you can totally do that. Harder is not worse necessarily. So I'm gonna roll my mat back just so I have some space out in front of me of the hardwood. And then also my mat gets to pad my knee. So we'll choose our right leg and bring that forward. And we're gonna come into this half split setup. So before we get into the next kind of moment of this, I just want us to open this up. Point and flex the front foot. And just get used to the leg being forward and the back of the leg getting long. Good. And so you'll walk your hands in and lift your chest up. And this part might feel a little bit funky with the balance. I want you to just kind of figure it out and know that the blocks are right there for you to reach for. We're going to take good mornings over the leg. So you'll bring the chest forward. You can reach for blocks, kick down through the right heel and use that kick to bring your shoulders up. Yeah. So another 5 like that, coming forward as low as you can go, back up. Another 4. No hands will be harder. 3 and 2 and 1. Very good. Alrighty. We're going to start some hamstring slides from here. So hands on blocks to start, and you'll slide your right leg away from you using the blocks to kind of walk yourself out to the depth that's appropriate. And then imagine that the effort comes from the leg. So don't move your hands just yet, and slide the heel back in and your hands can come in with it. All right, so option 1 is to walk yourself out and do a little bit of a slide without using too much effort in the hands. Option 2 is to have the blocks in one place and just use them as kind of a balance beam as you slide out and slide back in. Option 2 is to not use, or pardon me, option 3, not use blocks on the way down, but to use them on the way back. And then 4th is no blocks at all on in or out. You're gonna do 10, so however many you've done, do at least 8 more. 7, 6, 5. You might notice that they expand. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. So we'll slide out to a split that works for you. If it's half split, love it. Stay in half split. If for you coming to seated on a block on the third setting feels like a nice challenge for you, awesome, I love that. I want your right hip to slightly pull back, so I don't want you to splay open to the left. You could sit on a block on the second setting. I've got it underneath my thigh, and I'm thinking about lifting my chest and hugging my right hip back and rolling my left hip forward. For my slightly more intermediate students, I might put a block at the back of my knee and let my hips drop. So I want you to choose your adventure based on who you think you are. And I'll keep this as the visual for you, as a place to begin. And then if you want to play a little bit more here, if you're not having enough fun, you'll tuck your back toes and straighten that back leg and think that you kick the front foot forward as you reach the back leg away. So just activate the split a little bit more. Maybe intentionally kick the right leg down. Think that you could stand up from here and hold on to that kick for 5, 4, 3, 2, and soften what you've got going on. Take a couple breaths. Good, we're gonna do that 2 more times. Whether or not you can lift your back knee, find some power through the back foot, reach the leg away, reach the front foot forward. Hold on to that for another 3, 2, 1, soften. One more time here. 3, and 2, and 1. Gorgeous. Slowly, slowly, slowly come out of it. You can just take a seat for a second. Let the unevenness kind of settle here. We'll address that all on the left side. So left leg forward for a half split, and you're just going to pause, point and flex the front foot. And just keep your chest leaning slightly forward. Good. All right, start to lift your chest up. You can walk your blocks in. As we take our good mornings, you'll want to reach your right hip back. So have some space that you can kind of sit back as we take our good mornings, all right? Hands can reach for blocks if you'd like the balance help, otherwise out to the sides. Chest comes forward, you kick through the left leg to rise back up. And we're doing 5 more like that. Another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. We're going to start our split slide. So you remember what we just did on the other side. We're going to do that again, our hamstring slides. So you'll take 10 of them and do them at your pace, sliding your leg out and using your leg kicking down to slide back in. And this allows us to start to engage the muscles at the back of the leg while they're also in a lengthened position. And that's a really great way to build some strength towards our end ranges of motion. And that helps with resiliency, it helps with longevity. It's like, why the heck should I practice a split if I am like not a gymnast, not a dancer? What is the point? It's fun. It's a skill you get to have. Learning is really important as we age. So continuing to learn, no matter what our age is. And also, this is really useful for our bodies as they age, and generally for being able to be in our end ranges of motion without getting injured. right? If you've ever fallen and ended up in a weird position and hurt yourself, maybe something to do is also to think about, oh, like how can I train my coordination, but also maybe how can I train my end ranges of motion so I'm really familiar with them, so they're not new to me. So you've probably reached about 10, yeah? If you haven't, if you've lost count, you've just been listening, the rule is if you lose count, you do one more and call it a day. We're gonna set up in our version of a split. So I'm gonna keep it moderate for the demo purposes, but I really love the variation of putting a block underneath my front thigh and letting my hips dip lower, but I have an easy time in back bends, and I generally have a hard time opening up my quads and my hip flexors. My hamstrings, I don't have a hard time opening them. But for those of you that have a harder time opening your hamstrings, you might focus more on squaring the right hip forward and just trying to sit on some part of the block with your chest up. You might feel it more in the back leg than you do in the front leg. It's okay. If you want to feel it in the front leg and you don't, you can always walk the chest forward if you can't quite sit down lower. All right, we're going to find that engagement. So we'll tuck the back toes or just try and lift the back knee. If you're in a half split, know that you don't have to lift your back knee, that instead you can just kick your front leg into the floor. And we'll try and hold that up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Soften all of that. Take a couple breaths. Let's try another one. Kick and lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften. Last time. Kick and lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, and soften. Very nice. As you're ready, you'll draw yourself out. Take a second with your legs underneath you or in some kind of neutral, symmetrical position. Very good. You can get your blocks out of your way, set them off to the side, and we're going to come onto our backs just for a little bit of reconnection to our strength. So go ahead and flip over onto your back, step your feet nice and wide, and we'll set up for a hip bridge. Just press your hips up. Think that you draw your heels in towards you and reach your knees away. You can put your hands on the floor to lift up higher. Go ahead, hold on to that. Lift a little higher. Squeeze your knees towards each other. They don't have to touch. Stay lifted here. Keep drawing the heels in. Keep squeezing. Good. Tap your hips down. We're going to take 5 hip bridges. Nice and smooth. Lift up and drop. Lift and hold and drop. 3 more here. Lift and hold. Tap. Lift and hold. Head tap down. 1 more. Lift and hold. And tap down. Very nice. You can extend your legs up towards the ceiling. Nice, easy waterfall. Draw your knees in towards you. Put one hand onto each shin. Circle the knees apart and back together again. Big stirring. I like to think about this as like stirring a pot of soup and then go the other way. Very good. Draw both knees in towards each other, and you'll take your right leg, kick it long and away from you. Left knee draws in nice and close. Think that you reach your right heel away and you draw your left knee in towards your left shoulder. Nice and wide outside the ribs. long through the right leg, and you can feel some opening through the front of the hip. Good. Switch the legs out and do the same thing on the other side. Draw the knee wide, kick your left leg away. Couple breaths. Very good. Plant both feet down, and we're going to take a block and bring it underneath the low back and put it on the lowest setting the long way underneath you. So it's horizontal. So I guess I don't know if you call it the long way, the horizontal way. So it's side to side, it's long. So there's a lot of contact between your low back and the block. And then draw your left knee in towards you and start to send your right leg away. It doesn't have to straighten, it might. If straightening means the leg lifts off of the ground, I want you to try to get the heel nice and low so that you get the benefit of opening up the hip. So we're essentially in a lunge here, right? Our right leg away. If I hold on to the back of my left thigh with both of my hands and put my foot on the ceiling, or like image that I could put my foot on the ceiling while the knee is bent, this is essentially a lunge. We're just on our backs here and letting gravity help us a little. Good. We'll move nice and slow to switch over to the other side. You can start holding on to the shin. Figure out how long your left leg is going to go. And then if you'd like to, you'll hold on to the back of your leg and imagine you're stepping on the ceiling. Really good. You can let that go. Walk both feet in. Slide the block out from underneath you and just let your back be heavy on the ground. Your knees can draw together. If there's something else that you really feel you need, a happy baby or any other kind of stretch, even if it's just like holding on to your legs, letting your low back press into the ground, that might be a really nice way to ground. When you're ready, you can swing yourself up, give yourself a nice big pat on the back, nice big hug. Do something nice for yourself. Thank you so much for your time and attention and practicing with me. And I hope you enjoyed doing some splits, or at least working towards them. We'll definitely try this another time before March movement ends. And if you're interested in learning more, I'm going to do a whole splits series for my April members drop. So if you want to get more into learning different splits drills of how to build strength and resilience, things like those hamstring slides, on April 4th, I am going to be dropping a bunch of new classes onto my members only platform, and that's where you can find the path to splits. We'll be going not only over the front back split, but also over some pancake flexibility, that's this position, and some middle split flexibility. So join me on the members platform. You can find all of the details in the description of this video for how to sign up for that. Thank you so much again, and I'll catch you soon.